So it's great, see a lot of familiar faces. I was in Shanghai, Hong Kong for 3 weeks as a business slash vacation. I think I had a great time apart from the weather. It was so hot, 105 degree, 90% humidity, but typical Asian cities. But one thing that I learned, I learned so many things, but got one thing that I really want to share with you is my understanding about the live streaming industry in China. So I got an opportunity to visit a few like a top tier live streaming companies in China. So similar like a Twitch in China, Huya and Douyu. And also I got opportunity to visit Tencent, which is, by the way, the biggest gaming company in the world, and its market cap is probably $350 billion. So they also they're also one of the largest CDN provider in China. So anyway, so today I'm going to share with you my kind of understanding about my Chinese experience, or what I learned in my China trip. I'm going to break my talk into 3 parts. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the entire Chinese IT market. It's really fascinating. I believe there's a lot of bubble, but it's really fascinating and very isolated. Also, the live streaming, they call it interactive streaming. Basically, it's the same as Twitch, but it's the live streaming on OTT. There was a big hype in 2016, which I will talk about. There were more than 1,000 streaming companies in China. So imagine there were 1,000 Twitch in China. And I'm going to dive deep into some comparisons. Of course, I am an engineer. I'm most interested in what technology they use. Do they use RTMP, or they use HLS or Dash? But they use very different technology. And from when you hear it in the beginning, you will find, wow, they are so behind. But they are not. And only if you understand their scale, understand their revenue and cost model, then you understand why they choose this technology. So let me first talk about the Chinese market in general. It's actually pretty big. So look at the most valuable companies in the world. Tencent and Alibaba are among the top 10. I guess all of you are familiar with, have heard about Tencent and Alibaba. Yes? Yes. Okay, cool. And the reason is the Great Firewall of China. China is a very difficult market because of the government regulation, so even Google cannot penetrate the Chinese market. I think there's no chance for Twitch to penetrate it. It partially because of the Great Firewall. So China has built up a very special, very unique ecosystem, and because of the population, that basically built up the giant internet companies. Let me give you some example about some fact about Tencent, which I'm sort of more familiar with. I got opportunity to talk with their executives. Tencent is the owner of the Riot Games, if you're familiar with League of Legends. Yes? Yes. Great. So it is 100% owned by Tencent now. And very interestingly, there is a similar game called the King of Glory, which is, if you look at it, it's actually very similar to the League of Legends. It's also 5 against 5, but it's a mobile game. And the character is some Chinese characters. It is the most popular game in the world. It's the highest grossing mobile game. 160 million monthly active users. I think 50 million daily active users. So it's not only the kids, everyone. This is it's like a social game. In China, if you are relatively young, below 40, you have to play this game. Otherwise, you have no topic you cannot talk with your friend. You are socially isolated. And also another great thing about WeChat. Have you ever heard about WeChat, this app? Maybe not. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so let me explain a little bit. So WeChat is a little bit like Slack, I think, but it's for everybody. let me tell you the scale. So this is Chinese, so I need to explain a little bit. So the diagram chart is about the monthly active user. So it's going from 2013 Q4 to 2016 Q4 from 360 million monthly active user to 890 million active user. So it's really an app that everyone use for all purposes. More than 30% of the user use it for more than 4 hours a day. So it is really addictive. It's like a Facebook, but it's more kind of like chat-based social tool. And people use that not only for like a social networking. People use that for work. You know, day-to-day work. What is tool that you use for communication? And WeChat is leading by far. So it's ahead of telephone and other emails. So WeChat is the communication tool for Chinese. And another very interesting thing is on WeChat there is a feature called the WeChat wallet. So you can use WeChat, which is on your phone, to pay. And this diagram is saying close to 10% people of WeChat users spending 5,000 Chinese dollar, which is 800 US dollars per month. And between this one, like a 30% is spending between $150 to $800. So this become not only the communication tool, it's also become the Apple Pay. But the difference is everybody use it. So when I was in China, I was carrying my mom's phone. I was just using her phone. And for 3 weeks, I didn't have the opportunity to spend a single cent of cash. So China is a cashless society now. And not only the nice restaurant or nice shops, even if I go to have breakfast, if you want to pay a 20-cent soy milk, I use WeChat. So literally, you have no opportunity to use cash. So this is a joke. So this beggar is asking people, so showing his QR code, asking people to pay him using the WeChat. By the way, it's not a joke. This is real. And one reason for the success or the growth of the Chinese IT market is because the infrastructure. It is so I was meeting a friend, so I'm waiting for him. So I just popped into a like telecommunication shop, like an AT&T shop, like a Chinese telecom shop, and I saw this brochure. It says 30 Chinese dollar, which is that's $5. $5 per month. You get 4G, 10 gigabytes of data. So I'm paying, I don't want to tell, it's just too much, more than $150. I got 15 gigabytes, and it was a very good deal. So it's really cheap. This is about the mobile phone user. So in 2016, 563 million users, 16 million smartphones. This is really, I feel, a very interesting in China. For all the IT company I talk with, majority of their internet traffic is on the mobile phone. While I think in USA, desktop is still quite significant. I know Facebook is more than 50%. I think someone from Facebook can confirm. But in China, the traffic on mobile is 80-90%. It's really amazing. Okay, so that's about like the general, like a scale or general information about the Chinese IT market, internet market. Let me particularly talk about the interactive streaming. So I think Twitch started 2009, 2010, and the first Chinese streaming company was Huya. That started in 2013. So I met with them, talking with the engineer. They say in 2013 we look at your website. We want to copy you. So we start to hacking technologies. So in 2013, 2014, that's really the beginning of the Chinese live streaming industry. And look at the size in 2016. In February 2016, there were more than 80 websites doing the Chinese to live streaming. By the end of the year, there were more than 1,000. So it's really unhealthy. But on the other hand, there was a huge amount of investment to pour into this industry. And on the right, it says the monthly active user. So the biggest one has close to 30 million monthly active user. So altogether, if you look at altogether, in beginning of 2017, altogether the monthly active user for live streaming is 100 million. 100 million, but this is over-invested. So the article that I read, its point is it started cooling down. Yeah, so it's not growing, it's kind of decreasing. But nevertheless, if you look at the size, it's really amazing. Another thing that when I was talking with this Chinese streaming company, they say the typical viewers for this live streaming is there are poor people from countryside. They go to the big cities to work, to look for opportunity. So in the daytime, they probably work for a restaurant or work on the construction site. So they're very poor. They live in the like a dorm, like a student dorm. So there are 8 people living in the same room. So in the evening, they have nothing to do, but they don't even have room to put their PCs, and they cannot afford a PC, but they can afford a mobile phone. So in the evening, they're just watching the mobile phone for now, watching this kind of content for now. So I think it's very, at least from my understanding, it's very different from Twitch's viewers and Twitch's content. But nevertheless, the size is huge. I talk about the scale, let me talk about the content. One thing I feel very confused when before when I log on to this Chinese streaming website, I found that their concurrent viewer, which is this number, which is in China, so this says the concurrent viewer is 475,000 concurrent viewers. So I was very confused. Wow, how come you have so many concurrent viewers? You have lots of viewers. We think Twitch is the biggest one. For the rest of the world, we don't easily get this number of concurrent viewers. What they told me is this number is not the concurrent viewer. It's called 人气. There's also a Japanese term for that. This is an inflated number. So you can regard this as there's a black box. So you have the concurrent viewers, go through that black box, some algorithm that even maybe just times by 10 or times, but it's definitely inflated. So do not trust this. But from different sources, from various sources, I found out that Douyu is the biggest game content streaming company in China. They have active user might be around 7 to 7 millions per day, and the Twitch's published data, the daily active user is close to 10 million. So this means one website, so Douyu is not the biggest one, so it's the biggest one for the gaming content, but gaming is not the biggest content. One website is close to Twitch, and there are a lot of websites. I mean, not 1,000 of them having this scale, but maybe 5 of them have this scale. So then you can kind of feel that the scale of the Chinese live streaming market. And I want to talk about this girl. Not I know her, but she's like the top broadcaster on the Douyu platform. May I ask you, how much money do you think she is earning every year? 500K or $1 million? You guys, give me a number. 2.5 million, close. She's earning $3 million a year. $3 million, US dollars, not the Chinese dollars. $3 million US dollars. So it's amazing that she's earning more money than some famous actor, actress. Looking at to become an actor or actress, to become a celebrity, this is so competitive. But she can earn this much. But on the other hand, she can probably only earn it for a year. People will get bored at watching one girl very quickly. She's not my girlfriend, so I don't worry. So, but nevertheless, what I want to tell you is this is kind of typical content that live streaming company in China does. So she's singing karaoke's, so people ask her to sing karaoke's and maybe chatting with her and giving her virtual gifts. And I'm going to tell she's earning a lot of money. So people spending a lot of money by giving the virtual gifts. Okay, so that's the content. Okay, so yeah, back to, so for our content, Twitch's content is more gaming, esports, creative arts. They also do gaming, they also do esports. But for Chinese content, they're more, of course, gaming, but gaming is also different. Mobile game is very big in China. I don't think Twitch broadcasts mobile games, but the King of Glory, for example, the most successful game, that's a mobile game, and a lot of people watching that. They told me interesting things. So in Tencent, because Tencent owns this game, so Tencent knows all the metadata of this game. So when you log in using your Tencent account into this live streaming platform, because it knows that how much you play this King of Glory game. So Tencent roughly know what level you are at. So it will do some backend analysis. So it will show you recommended these channels that at a similar level as you are. So you can kind of learn how to play the game. So a lot of interesting integration because Tencent is so big. Okay, so as I said, apart from gaming, the karaoke and talking shows are the biggest one. They also invite the celebrities. So really the famous actors. So live streaming is live streaming, OTT live streaming is a mainstream media. It's like a TV station. I don't think Twitch has yet reached in everyone's mind. It's a mainstream media, but the Chinese streaming website they are, and also they do business sponsor event. Let me give example. So for example, so I talk about this top broadcaster, and this is so he is a celebrity. He's a actor, and this is a mobile phone is doing a release. It's like a release, not a WWDC, but like Apple doing release, but doing release not also broadcast on the website. So this is one of their major revenues because there's lots of eyeballs. So business sponsored event is also a major content. All right, so next I'm going to talk about the revenue and the cost. For our revenue, we do ads, some major revenue, and subscriptions. I'm not sure how you're familiar with Twitch. Ads is if you start watching a channel, it will do a pre-roll, it will show you 15 seconds or 13 seconds of ads, and you watch in the midway through the channel. If the broadcast choose to insert the ads, you will also see some ad is called mid-roll. So ads bring us a lot of revenue, and also the subscription, viewers can choose to pay, I don't know, $4.99, what did it say? $4.99 a month to a broadcaster. So it's like to support the broadcaster, but also the viewer gets the ad-free video stream. Gifts, we do have bits, but it's very, very, very small compared with the Chinese scale. Game purchase, so on Twitch you can purchase game, and we are part of the Amazon Prime package. So that's our business model. But for Chinese, it's different. It's GIF. As I said, GIF is the majority. Let me explain what this is. So you see all this, this called the super rocket, airplane, and the super rocket is cost 2,000 Chinese dollar, which is divided by 6. That's 300 US dollars. So 300 US dollars for the top gift, and the next level is 500 Chinese. So that's $80, 80 US dollars. So the viewers buy these gifts and they give it to the broadcaster. And I was talking about that top broadcaster, that girl, and in one evening, she received 627 rockets. So each one is $80, 80 US dollars. So she brings 50,000 US dollar revenue for the website. So no wonder she can earn $3 million. Yeah. So, but on the other hand, I have to say, I get from other sources, this is very inflated. This broadcaster, it's not someone that you want to be a broadcaster, no matter how pretty you are, how you can sing very well. There is a professional company, so like a backing her. Like it's like you work for agents, then agents give you some trainings, and also put monies and the buy. I mean, I think this 627 rockets, maybe half of that is bought by her agent company. So that's the fake money. So it's definitely inflated, but the size is pretty amazing. Okay, so that's a revenue model. Let me talk about the cost. So same as any other media companies, our costs are 3 parts: the content, operation, and the HR. So for the operation, CapEx and OpEx. For us, Twitch is very different from the Chinese streaming companies because we have our own CDNs. So we pay for all the servers. Biggest cost are transcode and edge, from my understanding, and OpEx, the operation cost. Of course, the server, the electricity bills, the cooling bills, and the bandwidth for the backbone, because we have the whole CDN and ISP pairing. So that's our cost structure. However, for Chinese streaming companies, it's very different, and you have to understand that. Then I can explain why they choose their video architecture. All the Chinese streaming companies, they don't have their own CDN. They hire CDNs. And the CDN charge them based on the bandwidth, not based on the number of servers, based on the bandwidth, based on how much data the outbound data from their edge. That's again one different things I think between USA and China. In China, as I explained, for $5 you can get 4G, 10 gigabyte of data, because the carrier do not quite charge the end user. So the end user's monthly subscription is not their majority of revenue. The majority of the revenue coming from the content provider. On the other hand, it is a few big CDN provider monopolize that, and for CDN providers, the biggest cost is their ISP pairing. It's the 60% is the money. It is the cost that's the outbound traffic, plus server plus others cost. So what I'm talking about here is they don't care too much about the server cost. They more care about the bandwidth cost. The bandwidth cost is the majority of the whole cost. That's the reason for the technology. So for Twitch, first of all, we are an international company. So we deploy our CDN, the pop of our CDN across the world. And our architecture is we receive RTMP H.264 from our broadcast through our ingest servers all the way to the transcoder. And from the transcoder, it all become HLS. So we only deliver one format. And the reason for that is the cost. Delivering one format of HLS is cost, because at our peak, we ingest more than 40,000 concurrent channels. So if we support different formats like a Dash or other HEVC or VP9, we have to shipping double or triple the traffic in our replication, and that's very expensive. But on the other hand, we care about our server cost. We change from RTMP, before we stream RTMP all the way from the broadcaster to the viewers. A few years ago, we changed to HRS. And the biggest reason is that there are two major reasons. One is the edge cost. From my understanding, if edge servicing RTMP versus the edge servicing HRS, the number of viewers can be serviced by the same CPU memory is about 1 versus 5. Okay, so HRS is a lot cheaper. It's understandable because that's stateless. RTMP, for every viewer, you have to keep a state. But on the other hand, it's probably because the software, the RTMP server, the software was not fully optimized. But nevertheless, we choose HRS. One major reason is the cost for the edge server. In China, it's very different. So I guess you're familiar with this warning. It doesn't happen too often now in USA, because most of websites have moved to HTML5 video. But in China, it is still very heavily rely on Adobe. And what they do is similar, but they do RTMP streaming, but they also do UDP. That's something we need to learn. The reason they do UDP is in China, but I think that's also here in USA, but in China it's more severe. The upload and the download is not symmetric. Typically the upload is the bandwidth is much lower, and also it's fluctuating. So using the TCP, it's better to use the UDP plus FEC to maximize the throughput. But the main point is after the transcoder, it becomes flash file via HTTP. So that's very different from us, Twitch, YouTube, and any American company. So from the player point of view, it is just downloading a very big flash file via HTTP. And why still flash? The reason is, as I explained, the content for Chinese streaming company, it's more the girl is talking with you. So as I explained, the viewers are the people work hard of the day, and they go to bed, and they're watching that girl. It's like she's accompanying you. She's like talking with you. She's like your family member. Viewers pay money, give the virtual gift to that broadcaster. And it's very, very important that the broadcaster respond immediately. So I give her, and she will say thank you. So less than 5 seconds is a must-have. It is so critical for their business model. They cannot sacrifice. So latency is the top priority for their business. So then you will ask that if they keep doing flash, it's going to be very expensive. Why Twitch choose to move to HRS, and all the rest of the internet company move to HRS? Why they still on flash? Is, as I explained, the bandwidth is the majority of the cost. The bandwidth, so no matter you're streaming flash or streaming HRS, it's still the same bandwidth. The only difference is the server cost. But server cost is not the majority of their total OPEX. So it is partially due to the ISP's business model. They are not charging the end user, they are charging the content provider for the bandwidth. So bandwidth cost is huge. Another thing, as I explained, the upload link is not stable. So the VBR is the source is VBR, variable bit rate, not constant bit rate. So that because it's a variable bit rate, so you have to allocate a much bigger pipe. Okay, what I want to say is the bit rate of source is not very predictable. So they have to allocate enough bandwidth so that when the source becomes good, that the viewer can still consume it. There's no buffer empty. Another thing is, sounds like the attack, or DDoS or whatever attack, is more common in China. Maybe because there are 1,000 streaming companies, so they're attacking each other. So any company have to over-provision their bandwidth. So for all these reasons, make the bandwidth cost the majority of the company's total OPEX, which makes the server cost a relatively smaller percentage. Another thing is for Flash is iOS. By the way, Apple is iOS. iPhone is very popular in China, but in USA, as I understand, if you want to submit an app and that app receives video, do video streaming, you can only use HRS. If you're consuming video on iPhone app more than 10 minutes, you have to use HRS. But in China, there's no such a constraint. So in China, the app is okay to receive a Flash file. Another reason is older version of browser are still widely used. So I talked with my dad. I open up his computer. He doesn't know what Chrome is. He doesn't know what Firefox is. IE is still widely used. Older version of. So then you will be asking the question is, what about the security? Since Adobe is not actively maintaining Flash anymore, but then how do they deal with the security problem? Then the answer is the Chinese company are taking over the patching of not only the Flash, they're also taking the patching of Windows XP. Windows XP has run out of its life cycle, but there is an antivirus company in China that keep patching the Windows XP. So, but nevertheless, eventually they are going to move to HRS. I think it's just right now there's no such urgent need. Also, another interesting thing is for ABR streaming. So I guess most of you are familiar with the ABR streaming. Because we do HRS and all the segments are time aligned, so you can write player algorithm that can switch among the different variants or different representations based on the bandwidth. In China, there is no ABR playback. So a website will offer you, say, 1080p, 720p, but there's no algorithm that can automatically switch among them. So if you select the 720p, then you found that it doesn't work, then you have to manually select. You have to manually switch to another representation. And because the IDRs are not aligned, so typically you will see some glitch. So I think because they use this architecture or this technology, there is some performance penalty. But really, the major reason is they have to have the low latency. And the HRS doesn't offer the low latency right now. In future, maybe some company will build a low latency HRS. And also performance is a concern for Flash. But right now, because of the uplink is not high bandwidth, so the source is still at 2 megabits per second. So they really don't need this performance. I think that's pretty much I want to talk about the Chinese market, something I learned from this China trip. Any questions? It's a very good question because the Flash doesn't support ABS. Okay, so talking about ABS, I got an opportunity to visit a few universities in China. the effort of AVS is still ongoing. People haven't forgot it, but it's mainly used for broadcast, like a set-top box. It's a traditional linear TV. And there are chip companies that are doing the AVS. Now their focus is more on the HDR and the 4Ks and VRs, this sort of thing. But for this, you need to remember that the streaming company, it's like Twitch, with a startup, try to hacking something together with open source. So I think the adoption of HEVC in China or in Asian country is a lot higher than in USA. Patent is indeed not a problem, so there's a lot of end-to-end solution like a IP camera, security camera is using HEVC. For this thing is, I think their quality is still pretty bad, so they don't need to use HEVC. Yeah. Maybe VP9 one day. First, I don't know their cost numbers. What all the number is, the more the cost structure is how many percent. All these like concurrent numbers that I get from multiple users, multiple sources, I feel that's trustworthy to me. This is the kind of the best number I have. Yeah, but indeed, it's such a one example I give you is I talk with a person. He's like selling the ads for a website. A typical problem for advertiser, for company want to advertise on their website is it's all their concurrent viewer is all fake. How do you trust that? I mean, then I put $10,000 in it. How many people are really watching? So this is the problem for the whole Chinese market, not only on the internet. Maybe, yeah, still developing country. Yeah.